Pizza Hut. Nah, just kidding.
Hey everybody, this is Michelle from Shaking the Rafters with Michelle, and guess who that is? Lucky me, that's the legendary Jack Russell, the incredible lead vocalist from Jack Russell's Great White. How are you? Should I order?
Okay,
Should
just
I?
making some pizzas, writing some songs. Pepperoni Blues is what I'm working on right now.
Should I order some pizza now? Do you deliver this far, Jack?
Yeah, we just wing them out the window like frisbees, and wherever they land, that's who picks them up.
That's like
I don't work at Pizza Hut. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because there certainly isn't. But they wouldn't want me working anywhere because I'd screw something up. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
oh, I doubt that. I bet you could make a mean
the only thing
pizza.
I know how to do is stand on stage and sing and write some songs.
That's lucky
That's
for
all I
us.
ever want to do. Well, it's I'm been very blessed and very lucky in my life. I don't take any credit for it.
Well, I am so excited to be talking to you tonight, and I have a lot of people that are looking forward to hearing it. I've been getting a couple emails, so I'll have to tell you about that. But so I got to tell you, I saw you a few months back, as you know, on the Hair Nation tour with Enough's Enough and the Bullet Boys. What an incredible show that was, and how was that tour for you? Because it was awesome in Orlando when I saw it. So.
It was great. It was great. It was so much fun. The guys are really good to tour with. We had a great time. All the bands got along real well. For the most part. It was really a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Well, it was a great bill, and it was so much fun. It really took me back, and you guys just blew everybody away up there on the stage. So thanks for that.
Well, thank you. Well, you're welcome. Thanks for the compliment. I really appreciate it. The band worked hard, and we prepared a lot for it, and we had a great time. We had a great time. Everybody was at their best, and it was an experience I won't even forget.
That's amazing. So, I wanted to talk to you about He Saw It Coming, the album, because that's such a great album for some of our listeners that might not have checked that out. That's the album from Jack Russell's Great White, and that song is incredible. And I know it's kind of like almost an autobiography of your life. You saw it coming, so I was wondering if you could share that with everybody, because it's the neatest song.
Well, it is. I mean, and this is a true story. I know some people are gonna go like, "Oh yeah, right. It's got, guy's got lobsters crawling out of his ears." And this isn't that. This actually happened when I was. It was my fifth. It was my sixth birthday, and I really wanted the Beatles' Help album for my birthday, and my parents bought me the Beatles' Help album. So I took it in my room, and I gingerly, cut the shrink wrap off, and opened it up, and I read every single credit on there, everybody's name that was on there, and people I didn't even know who they were. But they did something. So who were they, and what's a producer? But I was 6 years old, right? And at that time, I wanted to be an archaeologist. A little did I know I'd become a dinosaur.
No way.
but I wanted to be an archaeologist, and when I put that record on, as soon as the song "Help" came on, I had this vision, I guess you'd call it. I mean, I was too young to understand what it meant, but I just realized that my whole dream of being an archaeologist just went out the window. I was going to be a rock star, I mean, I mean that with all humility. I hate that phrase. I hate that term, but but I was going to be a famous musician. I knew that was going to be my life story. And with all the stuff I've done over the years that, tried to self-sabotage, unknowingly, but, nonetheless, I've fallen off the track many times, but always seem to have been picked up and put back on. And, it just, everything happened in the weirdest of ways. I met my first guitar player, and we got a band together, and it was just really, really strange. And, You know, everything happened the way I wanted it to happen. You know, the way not in the way I would expect it to happen, but it happened. And the he saw it coming. That's that is the theme of my life. I mean, I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to do what I was going to do. And the first that first line of the song, it says, you say my time is over. You look at me and shake your head. You say I've had my day, and you can't believe that I'm not dead. I've fallen down 1,000 times, 1,000 times I've risen. You've watched me agonize in pain, but still I stand and deliver. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I mean, I was a mess for a long time, and then, when I decided to get back on the horse, and then there were certain people that said, "Oh, he'll never pull it off. He could never do it." That just made me want to even do it more, just to do a little butt shoving.
I actually
I'm
got
like,
chills when you were saying the lines from your song. I just got chills. That's never happened to me.
"Oh, thank you."
No, I absolutely did. And I have to tell you, I have, I lost my brother in '07, which a lot of my listeners
Oh,
know, to
sorry to hear
addiction.
that.
And yeah, and so I always have so much admiration, especially for musicians, rock stars, so to speak, even though you don't like that term, that bare their soul up there for everybody, because I can't even imagine doing that in such a public forum, because it really gives people
Right.
hope that struggle, that there is hope that you can come out the other side and you're still standing, like you said in your song. So that
Oh,
means a lot,
sure.
you know.
Well, I mean, never give up. I mean, you only lose when you quit trying. I mean, I've never ever believed in failure. I mean, you just have to keep going. And like Yoda said, there is no try, there is only do or do not. You know.
Right.
And to me, that's an absolute truism. I mean, it really is. It is that simple. If you believe in something bad enough and you want something bad enough, it will happen for you. And that was a message behind a lot of our songs, and that was a message behind our first album. We had my parole report on the inner sleeve, and it wasn't to show, oh, he's Bobby Badass, because that wasn't the point. The point was, no matter how far down the ladder you go, if you really decide to climb back up, you just got to keep putting one foot and one hand above the other until you pull yourself out of the hole. That's the whole reasoning behind it.
Well, you really have an incredible story, and really your accomplishments. I mean, for anyone to accomplish that musically is impressive, but for someone to have been where you've been and still keep coming back up is pretty incredible. It is inspiring. So thanks for sharing
Oh,
your
I
story
appreciate.
with
No,
everybody.
I hope that so there's my book's coming out this year,
Oh,
and
I
I
can't
hope.
wait.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, me too. I'm rather excited about it. And I hope that people can get out of what I'm trying to pass along, and that just is the hope, and the belief that in what if you believe in something, no matter how crazy it may sound or feel at the time, if you believe it will happen. Eventually, it will happen. I mean, it's all about visualization and about believing in your convictions and in your what you want.
I believe that. That's funny because I actually commented on somebody's post recently that was saying something about hope, and I said sometimes hope is all we have. If you
Yeah.
lose that, you lose sight of that, then I mean, what's really left? If you can't hope
Yeah.
for
Back.
something better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, I did have someone write in because your songs are so inspirational to a lot of people, and I told him I would specifically ask you this question. So this is from Andy Gillis. He wanted to know if songs come to you suddenly in the middle of the night, or is it just like a random thing? And do you have to instantly put it down before you lose it, or what kind of process do you go through for that?
Well, it's different every time, really. I mean, sometimes I'll have something pop in my head in the middle of the night, but for the most part. It is like that. It's I don't know where they come from. It's not like I sit there and think about, okay, well, this next song is gonna be about this. It'll generally I'll come up with a musical idea or a melody, and or my guitarist will come up with a musical idea, or something like that, and I'll just start like humming along and kind of scatting over the music, and just scatting words and just that make no sense, and maybe a word or two will kind of sound kind of cool, and you go, oh, okay, I'm gonna keep that, and all right, well, that's gonna be the third line of the second verse, which is a really weird way to write.
Mhm.
But it kind of, I'm just a conduit, what I mean. I don't take any credit for any of the stuff that comes out of my head. It's very I don't know, it comes from somewhere else. And hopefully it's inspirational for the most part. I hope I write songs like that. I hope I write. Well, see, the thing for me is you mentioned it earlier. Autobiographical, and I look at it like that. I try to write about things that I've been through, because for the most part, if I've been through it, we've all been through it. I'm just John Q. Public here. What I go through, you go through, and what you go through, somebody else goes through. We're all subject to the human condition. There's nothing. I've had my heart broken. And so everybody out there listening right now, I'm sure, has had their heart broken. So I write a song about having your heart broken. There's gonna be millions of people that go, oh yeah, I know how that feels. So consequently, if I write about my life, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to go, oh yeah, I've been through that. That's why I don't write about fantasy stuff. It's not where I come from, so it's kind of hard to write about it.
Well, I absolutely agree. I mean, I think the songs that mean the most to me are songs that obviously, I can relate to on a personal level, and you relate it to something in your life. I mean, it may not be the same as where your inspiration came from, but from a similar place. So yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that's probably why your songs have been so successful, because people find something that hits home, so to speak.
Well, sure. Like I always say, we all pay the same price for a Big Mac. I mean, we're all living on the same ball of rock here, trying to make our way through this thing we call life, and if we realize that, and we try to help each other through it, the world's gonna be a much better place, and hopefully the music that I write, will help push that along. You know.
Absolutely. So, from what I understand, you were actually in your first band when you were 11. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started my first band when I was 11 years old with the gentleman that lived behind me. It was my parents had moved to Whittier when I was 10 years old, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be really weird. And I got there, and I heard this music coming from the street above me. So I went around the corner, and I found it coming from this one garage. So I walked up to the garage, I knock on the door, and there's this guy there, and he's about 16 or so. And he's looking at this, little kid, and he's like, I go, wow, you're really good, man. He goes, oh, thanks. He's playing Suffragette City, I remember, by David Bowie. And yeah, I'm a singer, and he goes, really? And I go, yeah, yeah. He goes, you have a PA? I'm like, no. He goes, well, I have an extra mic. I guess we could hook it up to my amp, and you could, sing along with me if you want to try out. I go, yeah, sure. So we plugged into his amp, and we started singing, and he goes, man, you're really good. And I go, oh, thanks. And so we decided we jammed for a while, and I go, hey, let's start a band. He goes, oh yeah, I know some guys from my school, my high school, and we could get something together. So he did, he got some guys to play with us, friends of his, and we started our first band. And that's where it all started. I mean, it wasn't like I had, 50 million bands I went through and all this. It was just happened really easily, and just one thing led to another. And I remember taking my we had a reel to reel recorder, and I remember we recorded the song "All Right Now" by Free. You know, and I took it back and I played it for my dad, and he saw, "Wow, you're really good." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." He goes, "What can I do? You gotta go. I need a PA." That afternoon, we went down to the music store, and he bought me a PA system. I mean, my dad was. I wasn't spoiled, but I wasn't not spoiled. You know what I mean? My parents
Sure.
were always behind me, no matter what it was. And my dad, I think he saw the same thing I saw. He saw that this was going to be my forte. He saw the passion in my eyes and in my voice. And he realized, wow, this is something, he's really good at. Because I wasn't going to college. There's no way. I didn't want to. It wasn't for me. I got a really good education when I was younger. I went to military school and all private schools. So, I mean, it was like, I've already had a good, like I said, a good education. So, I just didn't know well, I did know how to do it by life. I was going to be a musician. So I concentrated on that. And he used to always tell me, "Yeah, you got to have something to fall back on, in case you don't make it." I said, "Well, Dad, if I do that, human nature dictates that, when it gets hard, I'm gonna fall back." So I said, "No, I'm never gonna leave myself that option. It's either I'm gonna make it in music or I'm gonna be on the street corner going, 'Hey, you got a nickel?'" You know. So,
Wow. So your dad must have been extremely proud when everything hit for
oh
you guys, right? Was he like the number one
yeah.
fan for you?
Yeah, he was. He used to call up the radio station and go, "Hey, this is John from Whittier. Call, play some of that Great White." And they call it and go, "Hey, this is Fred from Covina. You play some Great White?" And "Hey, this is Bill from Montebello." And he'd make up all these, and the guys knew it was him, right? They could hear the same voice, and they're just going, "Yeah, okay, Fred." You know. But it was really cool. It was really cool, and I
I
remember
love that.
the best moment I think I've ever had in my career. It wasn't getting the Grammy nomination. It wasn't the platinum records and all that kind of stuff. It was one night we played Irvine Meadows. We headlined, and it was totally sold out. And I mean, we played. And my dad got to stand there behind the stage and watch the band, and he was standing back there with his arms crossed, across his chest, and I mean, he had big guns. My dad was like a weightlifter. And he was standing back there against the wall, looking at the stage, and it's like, there's his son singing in front of all these people, and he had this look on his face of just total vindication, because all his friends are like, "Oh, your son's going to be a rock star. He's just a loser. He ain't gonna do nothing with himself." And that really bummed him out. And you could just see the look of, "Yeah, I told you he was gonna do it." And so that was worth everything right there to me.
Absolutely. Since
That
we're
was
talking
really
about our
great.
parents, I got to tell you a little story real quick because if I didn't tell it to you, my mother would be mad at me. So I grew up my mother's big country music fan. Grew up listening to Loretta Lynn and all that stuff was always in our house, which is great music. She never
Yeah.
liked our music. She never did. But I was in high school and when your albums were, oh my gosh, and they were huge, I wore them out. I played them all the time. So it's such an honor to talk to you just for that reason. But
Oh, thank
I
you.
came home from school one day and Great White was blaring, Once Bitten, Twice Shy. And I thought, my brother and my sister was playing my album. I was going to kick their ass. When I came in the door, I was pissed. So I come in the door, it wasn't them, it was my mother. And I
Oh,
and I said to
wow.
her, I go, "What? Are you jamming to Great White?" And she was like, I just love this album. This is a great album. And that was,
Oh, that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. So the other day when I was taking her to get her hair done, and she's in her 70s now, I told her I was going to interview you, and she was so excited. I'm telling
Oh,
you.
pass along my love, please.
I
That's such
will.
a
I
great
will.
story.
So my mom Sharon, yeah, she loves you.
Well, thank you, Sharon. I love you too. That's really sweet. I love hearing stories like that. You know,
Yeah.
you multi generational. You know,
Yeah, she
when
was
we do
so
shows
excited.
now, and you see like three generations of people. You see like the older ones, the middle ones, and the like the 8-year-olds nowadays. I met this kid a while back. He's 8 years old, and I was like, "You're 8 years old." He's wearing a T-shirt like down to his ankles. You know, it was like, man, are you swimming in that? It was like a tent, you know. But it was amazing. It's been an incredible adventure in my life, and I'm just so blessed. And I want to thank all the people out there who've supported me over the years. You've let me live a dream, and I appreciate it. I know how important everyone is out there, and without the fans, I couldn't have accomplished anything. And that's what I try to let people. I try to impart to people is it's not really about the band or about me. It's about the audience because really that's what makes it all happen. That's where the energy comes from. That's what it's all for right there.
Yeah, that's absolutely, absolutely. So there was actually, I wanted to ask you something about that because you guys kind of offered a unique fan experience during your tour. Didn't you have a thing where you actually allowed some of the fans to get up on stage with you guys for a song or so? I seem to recall somebody coming up in Orlando singing with you guys on stage.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We did that, and and it was to play guitar with the band, and it was a really neat thing. It was a really neat thing, and then people that would come up, and it was really neat because nobody came up and embarrassed themselves. They actually knew how to play. And sometimes you do something like that, and you go, "Oh no, this guy didn't know, didn't know how to play." You turn him down,
Right.
It's like you might as well just have everything out of tune, and you know. But we got fortunate. Everybody knew how to play, so it was great.
Yeah,
It was really,
that was
really
a
good.
really cool thing that you did. I mean, that's probably, gosh, for some people, they probably never would dream that they could get the opportunity to get up there and actually play with you. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. We had a really good time. That was a great tour. I get to hang out with my buddies like Chips Enough and all those guys who Mark Ring and we've known each other for years, all of us. And God, we go back before dirt.
Kind of like a reunion. So that's good
It
stuff.
really was. It was like it was like the class reunion, 25 year class reunion. It's like God, what happened to you? You know.
speaking speaking of that, I actually want to ask you something because so I go to a lot of shows, obviously, and I see a lot of bands from our day, that are still putting out great music for everybody. And I certainly won't name any names in this statement, but over the years, when you're a singer, that takes such a toll on your voice. And I have to tell you, I know you've been through a lot in your life, but it has not affected your voice at all. So I'm wondering, how is that possible? And is there any certain techniques that you've used over the years? Because you sound the same. You do.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I've tried to take care of my voice as much as I can. I'm not always perfect at it, but I do my best. I have a very strict warm up routine, and I warm down afterwards. And I just try to be good to myself. Like I said, I don't always succeed. Every once in a while, I'll smoke a cigarette, which is not good for me. And my biggest problem is I sing all day long. And
Right.
I've done like 4 concerts before we do the show. So that's something I got to stop. But for the most part, good Lord willing, my voice works, and I've been real fortunate, and I don't understand how some of these guys do it that don't warm up. I don't know how they do it. One of these days you're just gonna crash and burn.
Yeah,
But
it's incredible. Like I said, it doesn't seem to have changed at all, which is
thank
a
you.
really great thing. And speaking of that, I wanted to talk to you about some of your influences, and you have such a unique sound to your voice, and especially on this new album as well. It I hear the elements of Great White, but there's so many other cool influences in there that I can hear. So I'm wondering who's influenced you the most throughout your career, and as you choose the way you're going to sing a song, who's been most influential to you?
Um, it took a while before I found my own voice. Because when you start out singing, you usually start out in cover bands, and you try to do your best to sound like the guy you're emulating. And I mean, that's the whole challenge, right? To make you're covering a song, you want it to sound like the band you're covering. So I was a really good mimic, or like an impersonator of other singers. Robert Plant was like really easy for me to sound like, and he's not really an easy singer to sound like, period. But for
No,
me, for me, it wasn't that hard, just because we have the same timbre in our voice. And him and Steven Tyler, Ian Gillan, Alice Cooper. There was I mean, anybody that I've ever heard and liked was an influence at some point in my voice. And that was, but those are the main ones. I remember and one of the greatest days of my life was when I met Steven Tyler. I mean, you have to understand, this is a guy that when I was like younger, I'd put my headphones on and sneak out in the back room where the stereo was, and then put in the headphones on and listen to Toys in the Attic all night long. And my parents would just leave out there. I'm out there, toys in the attic. And I sit there and pretend on my phone that I was talking to Steve. I'm like, hey man, how's it going? Hey Jack, what's up? And it was funny how these pretend conversations. And then one day I'm on the phone and I'm talking to Steven, and I flashed back to that day. I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to Steven Tyler. I used to pretend I was doing this, and this is really happening. It blew my mind.
a bit surreal,
Um,
huh? It's almost like,
totally,
yeah.
totally. It was totally weird. But I mean, there again, I had planned it, and I wished it upon myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah, So when I first met him, he was we were backstage at a concert we were doing, and he came running up to me, and I'm going. He goes, hey Jack. I look over at him, my jaws on the floor. I'm going, oh my God, Steven Tyler. And he walks up. He goes, "Hey man, I was reading an article about you." And he goes, "Did you really shoot that maid?" And I'm like, I couldn't even, even get past I was reading an article about you, and we were talking, and you know, it was like, I mean, he goes, you really got a story, man. I go, hey, anybody that has lived the life you have definitely had a story. And more about that in the book. I mean. So um but yeah, it's been a crazy interesting life, and it's it's more to follow. Buy the book. You're gonna read stuff in there that you wouldn't even believe.
Oh, I would believe it. I know you and I had that conversation
Yeah,
at House of Blues for a little bit, and you were telling me some of this stuff, and I was like, "Wow, you do have a
yeah.
story." and,
Oh
and
yeah, I
yeah,
know.
yeah, you do. You
Yeah,
definitely have a unique story. So, let's give a little bit of the back history for the great white fans out there. So you actually met Mark Kindle at a concert, I understand, and that's kind of how the formation of the band came about, or
No,
is that not
no,
true?
no, no, that's not true.
All right, I'll let you
Um,
tell it because you'll tell it better.
yeah, how it happened with Mark. Mark and I had a mutual friend named Art Fuentes, and I was in a band with Audie, and it was called Centaur, and they had kicked me out because I was using too many drugs, and then they couldn't find another singer, so they said, "Okay, look, you can be in the band, just don't do drugs when we're playing." Oh, I said, "All right, okay." And I thought about it, and I went, "You know what? No." I said, "You guys want?" Because they were playing cover songs, and backyard parties. I'm like, I was in a band playing Hollywood at the clubs, the Roxy and the Rainbow, not the Rainbow, but the Whiskey and Troubadour and place like that. And I'm thinking, now I'm playing backyard parties. I said, well, if you guys want to go original, and they said, no, no, we're not ready yet. And I said, well, then I can't. I got to move on. So I joined this. No, I'm sorry. I'd already been in prog rock. That was later. So um, I was jamming with these one guys. They were a rock band. They like one really good song. So I started working with them, and I kept getting phone calls from this guy named Mark Kendall, and he was this friend of Art Fuentes, and Art is going, yeah, man, he's a really, really, really great guitar player. I go, well, how is it guy? How does he look? Because that was really important back in those days.
Right.
And he goes, well, I don't know, he's a little different looking, but I go, what do you mean different looking? What? You've got two heads or what? He goes, no, no, I know he's really light complected. I go, oh, that's no big deal. So we met, and he came to my door. Well, no, first of all, he used to call me like he was in a band called Zizix, and my band Centaur was Tracy G, and we went on later to play with Ryan James Dio. And Audie, went on later to play with us. He used to call me. Mark used to call me like every day, and I just kept saying, "No, I got the flu." You know what I mean? And because they were the crosstown rival band, so no matter what, they sucked. I never heard them, but they sucked, because they were the cross. You know what I mean? That's like
Sure.
the cross. Yeah,
It's like
that's
the
like the
opposing
other
high
school's
school team.
football
Yes,
team.
yes.
Exactly. So, I never heard them, but they suck. They suck. So I never, like I said, never heard them, but they sucked. So I kept blowing them off. Oh, I got the flu, man. Oh, you still? I go, yeah, I got the flu. And Mark used to tell, I'm not sure which way he's telling this week, but um, he used to tell the truth. He used to call me like, and he goes, the guy had like he was sick for like 6 months. I kept calling him, and he kept giving me his excuses. And I said, oh, it's all of Monday. I just got tired. This guy can leave me. Guy can leave me alone. So I said, all right, okay, I'll come check you out. He goes, all right, man, I'll pick you up. So the doorbell rings. My parents' house at a certain time. I opened the door, and there was just like Herman Munster looking dude, with white hair and in like yellow satin pants and a white satin shirt, Capizio shoes, you know. And I'm like, whoa, I go, okay, this is not really what I was expecting. So I go, well, let's go get this over with, and I'll quit. I won't quit, but I'll just say no. So we go down there and same old stuff, rock bottom, lights out, and all that stuff, all the stuff from the from the '70s, Foghat and Aerosmith and Zeppelin and all the songs everybody else is playing. I'm like, God, I've done this to death. I was doing this when I was 11. I want to do this again. It's not like some music producer is going to drive by your house and go, "Oh my goodness, where's that amazing sound coming from? It's a guy's garage." Stop the car. Let me run up there and see who that is. That ain't gonna happen. So, and I walk in the house, and there's the drummer. He's this big fat guy, and he played with his snare like side stick. You know what I mean? And it looked really, really like candy butt, candy ass, whatever. And the bass player just he was the only one we kept for a while. He had this mop of hair. He didn't move around at all. The drummer was just fantastic. And the was it the bass player? No, I'm sorry, it wasn't the bass player. It was this other guy. And the basser had a mustache. And back in those days, a mustache, you were just totally like weird, or you're in Three Dog Night. You know what I mean? You didn't have facial hair in the '70s. It was like, no, you just don't do that. It ain't cool. So fortunately, his girlfriend, was like, no, 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 you can't be the band. So we ended up booting him. So, no, I'm sorry, we didn't end up booting him. He also just changed the band. So they played all the stuff. I'm like, all right. So I'm getting ready to leave, and I go, hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. But I'm working with this other band. They're doing all originals, and that's kind of what I'm into. And I'm getting ready to leave. Mark goes, hey, man, come here. Let me show you something. So we go in this other room. He's got his guitar and he's playing me these songs. I'm going, man, he's singing and playing. I'm going to go, dude, those are really good. Who's that? And he goes, that's my stuff. That's your stuff. I go, wow, that's amazing. I'll tell you what, you get rid of these guys, and I'll quit the guys I'm jamming with, and we'll start our own band. He goes, okay, cool. So that was the format. That's how we started the band.
Wow.
And that was that I went to jail for a while and take a little vacation. And
You took a little
you know,
vacation. Yeah, and I
yeah,
know a lot of
on
fans know
vacation.
that story, so that was probably kind of unexpected. And
Yeah,
how long were you
yeah.
gone actually? What was the amount of time that you were actually gone?
A year and a half
A year and a half.
total. Yeah. So it's a long time. It seemed like forever.
So when you came back
So
out, did you expect to
I
pick right up where you guys had
oh
left off,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, and I did.
wow,
6 days after I got out, I did my first show at the Troubadour.
that's
You know.
incredible, Jack.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, huh? I had to learn all the songs that had been written while I was in
Did you write
jail.
songs while you were in jail?
No, I did not. No, I did not.
Not
I
much
had songs that.
inspiration in there, huh?
No, well, Mark hadn't spoken to me in a long time, and I think the drummer was kind of the thing where I want some other guy, this other guy, because he's not gonna go to jail. Mark's like, don't worry, he's not gonna go to jail again. So, push come to shove, we got back together again. He had another band he had put together, and except for the drummer, because he was in the band before I went on my little vacation, and but
The
prior to
way
that,
you referred to it as your little vacation.
vacation, yeah, yeah, yeah. So he had got a new bass player, and he really liked me, so we got the band together. So it was everybody I knew plus a new bass player. It was really great. And so that was our band, and they had called themselves Dante Fox when I was on vacation, and so I popped right in, and that was the start of the band, and which later became Great White in 1982, and that was I got out of jail in '80, and they were Dante Fox, and that was Dante Fox until like '81. And
Well,
so it was yeah, it was a neat transition. unique. I mean, I don't think there's anything in the rock world as anybody, you know, how's I guess no, any story in the rock world has anything resembling that. It was like completely insane. I mean, it's just the most bizarre, unique story of any band I think on the planet.
I completely
Um,
agree. I completely
yeah,
agree. Yeah, and I think some people, I mean, would have went through what you went through and kind of lost sight of that vision and been like, oh no, this isn't going to happen for me. Now after you went on your vacation, so to speak.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when you were on vacation, did it pop in your mind that this wasn't going to happen, or did it make you more determined?
Yeah, because here's the thing. You know, um, one of the weird things, I got 8 years in court, and due to a bunch of clerical mistakes and the fact that when they send you to youth authority, CYA, California Youth Authority, they re-sentence you again. And they had given me 8 years, so they could take it and they could keep me for 8 years, you know, if they wanted to. And I'm thinking, man, it was a blessing, but also a curse because when they gave me 8 years in court, I'm like, oh my God, I'm done. I'm
Right.
just done. Not only, even worse off, I'd harm somebody. So that was a horrible thing to have to live with. Fortunately, I didn't kill a person or, you know, but it was just a horrible thing. And um, it's a great thing drugs will do you. And um, God, where's that? Oh yeah, so I remember being one day I was this was after I had gone through all the psychological evaluations and all this other stuff, and I was sitting in my room and I was just really my room, my cell, and I was really just down, I'm like, God, I've always thought that you'd give me this and this was what I was gonna do, and you know, please don't want to take it away now. Don't let this happen to me. And I remember I'm not like a Bible. I've never actually read the Bible. I know a lot of passages in it, and I know a lot of a little bit of the scripture. And I'm not really a what you call a Bible thumper. And not there's anything wrong that people do that. I have my own. I'm more of a spiritual person than I am into controlled religions. Um, uh, so I had there was a Bible in my room, as there is in every room, and I took it and I just thumbed the pages, and I stopped on this one page, and I stuck my finger down, and I had put it on Matthew. I think it was Matthew. Don't quote me on this, but it's like Matthew 21 and 22 or something like that. And basically what it said was, in all things ye shall ask for in prayer, believing, and ye shall receive. If you say to that mountain, over there, be gone or whatever, the mountain will move. So what it was basically saying in layman's terms was, whatever you believe in and asking for, you'll receive it if you believe in it. And it's true. I believed in my heart of hearts I was be successful. I mean, I really believed it. And boom, they made a bunch of clerical mistakes, and all this weird stuff happened, and they ended up giving me 11 months, and I got out in a total of a year and a half
That's
out of
amazing.
8 years.
That's amazing.
You
So
know,
from that moment of despair, not knowing what was going to happen with your
yeah,
life, to becoming a Grammy nominated artist and double platinum albums. I mean, I bet you probably never saw that coming. So
It's well, I did see some of it coming, but not all that. No.
that's incredible. I can't wait to read
Yeah.
your book. I think it's going to be very inspirational for people. So I'm really looking
Well, that's
forward to
the
that.
idea. That's the whole idea of writing. I've been wanting to write this for years, and the whole idea behind it, behind me writing is the same as it's always been, to show people that no matter how, despairs you may be at the time of your life about whatever, you can always change it if you want to. Don't
Right.
be afraid of change.
Right. I mean, you've been through so much, like we talked about. You've had your addictions that you battled, and you also had a serious back injury as well. And to see you still standing up on the stage after going through all of that, it's like I said, it's pretty inspirational.
Well, thank you. I hope to be an inspiration to people. I mean, I've had a colostomy bag. I've had, both my, um, I got 4 bolts in my right hip. I've got a whole hip replaced in my left one. Um, I've got my pelvis is all wired together and bolted together. I got more metal in me than the Tin Man.
That must be really difficult dealing with daily.
Well, when it gets cold.
Right, like it is now, right?
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, it gets cold. It's like, you start to hurt, but it's hey, it could be a lot worse. You know.
Well, Jack, let's talk about what's going on with Jack Russell's Great White and what you guys have planned.
Well, right now we have a record coming out. Actually, 2 records coming out. We have one called One Spittin' Acoustical Bites, and what that is basically is a One Spittin' album re-recorded, um, unplugged. And Jack Russell's Great White's doing that, and we're also getting ready to start recording on the Twice Shy acoustic version, and we'll be doing Hooked and Psycho City as well. And we're also doing live Great Zeppelin 2. I don't know if you heard a chance to hear the first one. If you haven't heard Great Zeppelin, it's a tribute to Led Zeppelin performed live by Great White. And this is out when I was still back at the band.
Right, and you guys put that
And
out in '98, so that was right,
yeah,
right, yeah. So that's gonna be good.
yeah. So they're all different songs. There's a lot of Achilles last down. There are a lot of different songs. All over the heavier ones. So we're looking forward to doing that. And then I have the new album we're working on for the band Jack Russell's Great White. And I've also have a project called Jack Russell and the Shelter Dogs, which is my blues band, which is all great, great, great solid blues players that play with like a Lionel Richie, um, who else? They played with God, Barry White. They play with Marvin Gaye. These guys play with everybody. You know,
Wow, those are some
and
singers that I really admire, and I'm glad to hear that because a lot of my favorite songs by Great White, like "Rock Me" and "House of Broken Love" and all those songs. There's such a bluesy feel to those songs, so you definitely will rock the hell out of some blues. So I would love to hear that. That's going to be good stuff.
yeah, it is really fun stuff. We had a great time recording the shows, and it's it's fun to go out and play a band stuff that you really admire. I mean, you can almost feel what it was like to be those guys, with this vast catalog of just killer songs, and how heavy it must have been, and I don't know, it's really really you get to feel both sides at the same time, as the artist and as a listener. It's really weird.
Well, we're looking forward to all that great stuff that you've got coming out, and looking forward to seeing you over here, Jack, at the Full Throttle Motorcycle Expo on the 10th. You know,
Yeah.
so that's February 10th for everybody that's listening. It's a great lineup there. It's a free event.
Jack Russell's great white.
Yeah, Jack Russell's great white. That's right. Jack Russell's great white. And yeah, won't forget that. But looking forward to seeing you at the event. I can't wait. I know it's going to be a great show, and for everybody that's around or can come out because they won't regret that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I promise you, it'll be a show you'll with your mouth just hanging up and going, wow.
Yeah, and I'll have to give you a great big thank you for all the hurdles you jumped to speak to me. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. You're an incredible human being, Jack Russell.
I know, but thank you. No, I'm kidding.
So anyway, thank you so much for joining me tonight and sharing everything with us.
Oh, and you're very welcome.
Incredible. It's such an honor. Such an incredible honor. Seriously.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm serious. And my mom, she's going to just go crazy when she hears you say her name.
Tell her I love her, please.
I absolutely will. I so will. So we're going to play some great music from your album because I want everyone to hear the song He Saw It Coming. So we're definitely going to play that for everybody. And thanks for joining me tonight, Jack. You are amazing. Seriously.
Anytime, Dawn. Thank you so much, and God bless you and your mom.
Oh, you as well. Everybody, Jack Russell. Jack Russell's great white.
God bless everybody out there listening. And, hope y'all have a great New Year. Hey, this is Jack Russell from Jack Russell's Great White, and you are listening to the rockin' station, Rage, baby.